Hi and welcome to this video about grammar. Today's topic is why is grammar important? Why do we need to think about grammar rules and can't we just speak and write? Does it matter if we make mistakes? The most important thing is to be understood, right? And I agree, the most important thing is to be understood. To be understood without grammar, however, can be quite difficult. Because if you remember, grammar is about how we inflect words and combine words into sentences. So without grammar, what we have is just a bunch of words. And we can communicate a little bit with just one word. I could say hungry, food, and you would probably understand what I mean. But it's not very sophisticated. And at the level that you're at, upper secondary, you are far beyond communicating with simple words. And you have learned a lot of grammatical rules and patterns, and you also master many grammatical rules. However, you still make mistakes, and quite a few students make mistakes in very basic grammatical patterns. And there are several reasons to try to improve this. One reason to try and improve your grammar is that grammar mistakes disturb communication. In some cases, I can easily understand what you mean, even though you make a grammar mistake. For example, if you say he don't like that instead of he doesn't like that, there's no changing meaning. So I understand you. So then you might ask, well, what's the problem then? Well, the point is, if you make a lot of mistakes like this, it can disturb communication, especially if you're talking to somebody who masters these patterns. They might be annoyed that you're making a lot of mistakes and they start maybe to fixate on your mistakes rather on what you are saying. Secondly, grammar mistakes create misunderstandings. When you change the grammar, you change the meaning. So if I say, I'm reading, this is what I'm doing. I'm reading a book right now. If I say I read, it means something else. It just means I have a lot of books I like to read, but I'm not necessarily reading right now. Right now I'm staring into my web camera. So there's a difference there. Or if I have a chocolate and I say, I'm going to eat my chocolate, and you say, oh, I want a chocolate too. Fine, go buy one, or I might be generous and share. But if you say, I want the chocolate, that changes the meaning. So changing grammar means changing the meaning of what you're saying. And if you do that by mistake, you can create misunderstandings. And the third reason that I would like to mention is that, you're judged based on your language. Like it or not, but we judge each other a lot based on what we look like, what we're wearing, but also how we speak and write. And especially maybe in more formal settings or official settings like a job situation or in your studies, you don't want to risk come across as somebody who doesn't know what they're talking about. And it's a bit unfair, but because you can definitely know a lot about a topic and you can be well prepared. But if you make a lot of grammar mistakes or other language mistakes as well, it's going to influence how people view your credibility, or ethos as it's called in rhetoric. So you come across as less reliable because of your language mistakes, even though you might be well prepared and actually be a reliable source of information. In a school context, you're also judged based on your grammar. Now you get a final grade in English and you might also be picked out for an exam, and grammar is an important assessment criteria. And a lot of students, when they go from lower secondary to upper secondary, they realize that I'm not good enough when it comes to grammar. Because you make mistakes in basic patterns, and if you want a 5 or a 6, for example, you can't make a lot of grammar mistakes, because remember, grammar mistakes leads to misunderstanding, your meaning is unclear. So this is an area that you really need to address if you want to get a, for example, 5 or a 6 in English. So this far in the video, I have talked about sort of negative consequences of making grammar mistakes. Now, I want to end on a more positive note, because there are some benefits to studying and working with grammar. Now, one is, of course, that your English skills improve, but you're also studying other languages in school, such as, French, Chinese, maybe your mother tongue, and learning about grammar in English can help you improve in those languages as well, because it becomes easier to compare and find similarities and differences when you have a precise language that you can use to talk about grammar and other language features. So, and also if you want to learn new languages in the future, it's helpful to have this basic understanding of grammar. So try to think about how you can motivate yourself to improve your grammar.